anyone like to come up for a story this morning? Hi, Rachel. Hi, Max. You washed it extra this morning. I did too. Can you tell? Rachel is 6? Wow. You're almost as old as I am. Yeah, I know. Well, I have a story to tell you this morning. This is one of those magical stories that's almost like a fairy tale kind of story. And yeah, I love these stories too. And yeah, so it starts in the desert, in the dry land, in the Holy Land, in the place where Jesus was born. And on Christmas Eve, I told the story of Jesus' birth. And this story is one of the first stories about Jesus after that, when he was probably about the age of Freya, about that size. So he was no longer a baby. Imagine, between Christmas and today, he's already gone from a little baby in a manger to somebody the size of Freya. That's magic.
Going to be 7.
Yeah, that's right. And then 8, and then 9. So, this story, begins in a little village called Bethlehem. And it's the story that happens in a very plain little house there. And in that house, there were 3 people. There was Joseph and Mary and Jesus as a little boy. Just like, well, Freya's a little girl, but same idea. And life was just pretty normal. Work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. That was pretty much life. But a long way away, thousands of miles. So, Rachel, Max, can you just back up a little wee bit? Because I need to put some of the story right here. Can you back up a little bit more for me? That's perfect, thank you. Along thousands of miles away, or thousands of kilometers away, there was this very different land. Very different land. And in this land there were 3 wise ones. 3 wise ones. Or kings, or magi, or astrologers, depending on which version of the Bible you read. But they lived in this land. And they heard that there was a new king born. A new king that was going to change the whole world. And they also heard that there would be a star that would appear, and it would lead them. It would lead them to this new king. And sure enough, a star appeared. And so they left this land and they began to follow this star. And when they got to this different country, they wondered, well, what do we do now? This is a big country. How are we going to find some single little child somewhere? And so what they did is they went to the capital city, the city of Jerusalem.
That's a really big city.
That's a really big city.
Too big city.
So they went there because they knew that the king of this land lived there and thought he might know where this new king was going to be. And so they went to see King Herod. And they asked Herod, they told Herod this story and asked about this child. Well, Herod was upset because he was the king. He didn't want somebody else to be the king, but he pretended that he was excited, and he told these travelers to go looking, to continue following the star, to keep looking, and when they find this new king, to come back and tell him, because he wanted to know. Well, we're not sure why he wanted to know, but we can guess. So, they continued on. The star traveled on and stopped in this little village called Bethlehem, and sure enough, it hovered over this house. And so these three travelers arrived, and they saw this little child wandering around and thought, could this be the new king, this little child? But the star was there, it must be true. And they were so excited. And so they bowed down, and then they offered gifts. One of them offered a gift of gold. A gift of gold. And gift of gold, remembering to always be thankful for what we have. And another one offered a gift of myrrh. It was a scented oil. Want to smell it? And that was to remember to always trust God. And the third one was frankincense. Frankincense is like an incense. Can you smell it? Oops, Herod fell asleep. Frankincense. To remind us to always love. And those were the gifts that they offered. So, after they visited, they thought, we're not sure that we should tell Herod, because maybe he would be mean because he wants to remain king. So they decided that rather than go back through Jerusalem, they would go a long way home and back to their own country. I wonder why he keeps falling down, doesn't he? Maybe he's tired. There we go. I wonder why these kings, these wise ones, these travelers would travel so far just to find a child. I wonder why they do that. Hannah?
Maybe they knew that this child is going to be a very good guy.
Yeah, maybe they knew he was going to be a good guy. Yeah. I wonder what they thought when they finally met Jesus, this little child. Oh my God. Yeah. And I wonder what it felt like to not tell anybody, to keep it a secret.
I know. Because I heard of this story a few times. And I know that this guy is so dangerous, we're going to kill her. Like, hey,
Yeah.
he's just a candle.
Yeah, he's just a candle.
I
That's what makes him stand up. Well, that's our story. And we're going to sing a song about light, because at the center of the story is the star. So we're going to sing a song about light, and then you're going to head off to Children's Church, and I'm sure there'll be something great to do there. So let's sing A Light is Gleaming.